Family, man, let me adjust the camera. Get it a little lower. There we go. Man, what's up, family? Man, back for this second live today, man. It's gonna be questions and answers. Um, man, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to get up in here before we get started. Man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, while I'm waiting for you guys to come on in, man, I bless each and every one of you. I thank you for your energy. I thank you for your subscriptions. I thank you guys for your donations and what you guys do for this channel, for this platform. And for those of you that catch this later on the replay, man, the same thing as well. If there's any questions you guys have, man, go ahead, just put them in the comments or just go ahead and type them up and we'll go ahead and get started. One of the questions I'm asked a lot while you guys coming in is how did I and why did I start this platform and how did I get going? Um, Life is bigger than me. You know what I mean? Life is so much bigger than me. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, life is bigger than each of us. You know, at some point, every one of us, man, the reality, it is what it is. We're all gonna die. You know, that's just real. At some point, every one of us is gonna die. What is gonna be your footprint left on this planet? What is gonna be your legacy that you leave behind for others? You know what I mean? I've gone through a lot. I've faced a lot of challenges. I faced a lot of obstacles. And one of the things that I didn't want people to have to do later on is to have to go through a lot of the challenges that I did and not have a source or not have an outlet of somebody that's been there, that's done that, and them reaching back and not helping. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be one of those individuals that have gone through all the crap that I've done and then die and not do anything and trying to help others make it up out of their dark space, make it up out of their hellhole, make it up out of their depression and their suicidal thoughts and beliefs and just their self-hatred and all that other stuff. And so my mentality is, man, I've always want to give back. I always want to be a blessing to help others, you know, to let them know that, man, you don't have to go through this. You don't have to stay in that dark state. You know what I mean? What's up with you, ass naked troll? You don't have to stay in that dark state. You know what I mean? There's hope for you. I don't care where you've been. I don't care what you've done. You could reach your full potential. You could do all that you came here to do. You could have all the happiness, all the peace, all the joy that you want in life. You just gotta be willing to put in the work. Another thing I'm asked is, as far as this platform, um, why don't we talk about politics and what's up with you, Jose? Why don't we talk a lot about politics and the shot as far as the what do you call it, the whether or not you should have the injection, what do you call that crap, COVID shot and all that other stuff. Man, that's all a personal decision. You know what I mean? That's a personal decision. I ain't got no heaven or hell to put nobody in. I don't do what you got to do. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you not to get the shot and you lose your job and now you can't take care of your kids, you can't provide for your family, you get behind on your rent or whatever the place, and now you homeless. You know what I mean? Because you didn't want to take the shot because I told you not to take the shot. You know what I mean? No, I'm not into that stuff. You know what I mean? To each their own. To each their own. You got to do you. You got to live your life. You know what I mean? It's not my place. It's not anybody's place to tell you what to do with your life or how to do your life. You know what I mean? Especially something like that. You know, man, it's an individual thing. You have all these people, oh man, anybody that takes the shot, they're not woke. Anybody that don't take the shot, they're not woke. Man, I am who I am and I don't give an ass. I don't give a damn who have anything to say about it. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. We have to grow up. We have to stop being so divisive. We have to stop being so petty. We have to stop thinking that we're so damn smart and that we're smarter than everybody else. And when I talk to a lot of young people, that's the great majority of their issues. is that they think they're so damn smart. You know what I mean? They think they're so damn woke that they got all this shit figured out. It's like, dude, you 13 years old. How the fuck can you have life figured out? How the fuck can you have everything figured out? You ain't did shit yet. You ain't been nowhere yet. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. People take whatever, you know what I mean? It's like drinking. Some people tell you not to drink. Some people tell you drinking is wrong. You shouldn't drink and whoop de whoop. Man, I drink occasionally. I don't get plastered. I don't get drunk. You know what I mean? But from time to time, I'll drink alcohol. So I'm not one of those people that tell you, man, you should never drink it. Da, 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 da. I am a health. I am healthy. I'm conscious about what I put into my body, but I'm not fanatic. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that, man, I'll never put alcohol in my body. I'll never do this. I don't eat healthy all the time. I don't. But I guarantee you, I'm in better shape than the great majority of people my age. I'm in better shape than most people in their 40s. But I don't eat healthy food all the time. And we have to live in a balance. You know what I mean? There has to be some balance. If all you do is just work, 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 and you never enjoy fucking life, you never go out on vacation, you never take time out, man, you're gonna get freaking fed up with that shit and you're gonna crash and burn. Same thing with working out, the same thing with your eating habits. There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. It's a trip because I was just talking to the Queen yesterday. People see me on this platform and they think, man, Elijah's so strict and he's so rigid and he's so man, because I have no problem with going left. You know what I mean? I have no problem with going off. But the reality, man, I'm a fun-loving guy. You know what I mean? I laugh, I talk smack. Man, especially if I really like you and we really got that vibe, we got that connect, I will laugh and talk smack and shoot the breeze and clown around and be stupid all freaking day. You know what I mean? So don't think that you know me just because you see me on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because I'm a certain way depending on the conversation. And when I'm not on YouTube and on video, man, I'm a certain way. I could be just as serious off the camera as I am on the camera. But you'll also see me laughing and just clowning and just acting a fool. You know what I mean? I like spades, I like pinochle, I like bid whiz, I like bones. You know what I mean? You don't see that side of me here on YouTube. So don't assume that you know everything about me. Don't assume that this is all that there is to Elijah. You know what I mean? Working out healthy and drinking tea and, you know, flipping tires at the gym and lifting weights and doing, that's not all there is to Elijah. There's a child part to Elijah too. There's a kid nature to Elijah too. There's a silly nature to Elijah too. It was this, so man, we have to understand that life is about balance. You know what I mean? It's about balance. Yes, have fun. But in the process of having fun, don't forfeit your life. Don't forfeit your future. So many of us, the young people nowadays, they have so much fun, they're having fun, but they're getting locked up in the process of them having fun. They're doing stupid stuff in the process of them having fun that could potentially kill somebody because they're drinking and driving, they're having fun. And I can't trip because the reality, I was doing stupid stuff like that too. Fortunately for me, I grew out of that. Fortunately for me, I only did it a few times. But we have to grow up and understand, man, you can have fun and have a blast and it not cost you your freedom. You can have fun and have a blast and it not cost you your life. See, there's a whole bunch of young kids running around playing this stupid knockout game where they're running up on old people and knocking them out, or elderly people and knocking them out, running up on women and knocking them out. Ain't shit cool about that. Ain't shit cool about that at all. And the truth be told, you deserve to get the fuck stomped out of you for stupid shit like that. You deserve to run up on the wrong person and they just beat the snot out of you. Every one of you that play that stupid ass game. And I don't give a damn what color you are. When you do stupid shit like that, you deserve stupid ass fucking consequences for it because you have to learn. And as long as you keep doing stupid shit and getting away with it, you think, man, everything's fun and games. You think, oh, I'm good. Ain't nothing happened to me. until you run up on the wrong person and they beat the shit out of you. And for some of us, we're not going to learn in this life. For some of us, we're going to run up on the wrong person. They're going to put a couple of bullets in us and we're going to die on the spot. For some of us, some of you, you're going to run out there as young women. And I see so many young women running after these dudes and chasing these guys and trying to clown them and disrespect them in clubs and all this other stupid stuff, all at their jobs and everything else, trying to mistreat them and embarrass them in front of everybody and just talking smack, flattening their tires, scratching up their cars, smashing their windows and all that other stupid shit. You're going to do that to the wrong person, it's going to cost you your fucking life. You have to grow up and learn to deal with your freaking emotions. I'm not saying that you can't be pissed. I'm not saying that you can't be mad. I'm not saying that you can't be frustrated in life. Yes, be frustrated. Yes, be mad. But deal with that anger, deal with that frustration in a healthy manner that benefits you. I used to work with a bunch of kids. And primarily young men, young girls too, but primarily young men. And they would have all this rage, all this anger. Because one of their parents wasn't in their life or wasn't in the household. They were the black sheep of the family. They were called stupid, dumb, ugly. They had short man complex or whatever the case may be. And so they had all this built up rage, all this hate. It's like, okay, come on. Let me show you how to use this energy. Because all it is energy. When you get really pissed, it's a bunch of energy that's not being used. When you get really angry, it's a bunch of energy that's not being used. And so you start wilding out on the wrong shit. You start doing the wrong stuff. And so what I would take these young, it's like, okay, come on. We're going to go do some push-ups. We're going to do some dips. We're going to do some squats. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. Why? Because you have all this excess energy. You want to be a football player when you grow up anyways. You want to be a baseball player when you grow up anyways. You want to do this, that. Okay, cool. You want to be strong. You want muscles. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go out here and we're going to do some exercise. I'm going to teach you how to exercise. You don't have to have a gym. You don't have to have a membership. You could do this in the bathroom. You could do this in your bedroom. You can go in here and you're going to do 500 freaking push-ups. You can go in here and you're going to do 500 squats. Why? Because that's going to release all of that excess energy and it's going to make you stronger. It's going to build your muscles. You were still pissed. But what you did was learn to take that energy and harness it. You learn to take your energy and be like, I'm angry and mad. And I see people, man, they get so mad, they just start grabbing shit and just throwing it. They just start grabbing shit and just dropping it and just punching holes in walls and doing all this stupid shit. Because they don't know how to harness their energy. There's nothing wrong with getting mad. Don't do something stupid that costs you your freedom. There's nothing wrong with getting mad. Don't do something stupid that costs you your life. That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Learn to use your energy productively. You like drawing, you like music, you like singing, you like rapping. Man, sit down and write some rap lyrics that releases all that anger, that you voice all that anger out. Put some music behind it. If that's what you like doing, then do that. You ain't got to release it, but you release that energy. You ain't got to put that music or that album out there into the universe, but you're releasing that energy. You can't allow that energy to stay within you because then you become toxic. You become dangerous. You become a danger to yourself and to the rest of humanity because you don't know how to release that energy. Some people now, young people, man, they're reckless with their mouth. Man, they say anything because they have no filter. Because they're pissed, they think they're entitled to say anything and do anything. You're entitled to say whatever the hell you want to say, but understand there's consequences with it. Understand the repercussions may not go the way you think they're going to go. You're entitled to be pissed all you want to. You're not entitled to go out there and pick a fight with somebody. You're not entitled to go out there and start cussing somebody out and doing stupid shit to people. Because people ain't dealing with that. People don't have to deal with your foolishness. People don't have to deal with your anger issues. People don't have to deal with your low self-esteem and just all your other stupid shit that you got going on. And you're going to run across the wrong person that's like, man, I'm not listening to this. Bile! And cave your jaw in. There's a whole bunch of young women think that they could just slap dudes, hit dudes, punch dudes, throw stuff at dudes, and dudes ain't gonna do nothing to them. You gonna get the shit knocked the fuck out of you doing that stupid shit. We have to grow up. And the problem is, so many society has made you feel so entitled, made you feel so privileged, that you could be a computer badass, you could be an internet gangster. You know what I mean? You could be a hoodlum all on social media all you want to. But in real life, they got places for people like that. The pen or prison. That's it. So if you're a young lady and you feel like, man, you got anger issues and you could just tell a guy whatever you want to tell him, okay. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you to be careful, because you're going to get the shit beat out of you. And it's a trip, because women are quick to say that, well, you ain't no man if you hit a woman. You ain't no fucking woman if you think you could just talk and disrespect a dude like that. We ain't gonna have this fucking double standard. You're not gonna get up in my face and cuss me out and grab me and try to slap me and hit me and not think that I'm not gonna defend myself. You're not gonna just walk up to some dude you dating or whatever the case may be and just grabbing on him and just punching on him and having your friends videotape this so you could go viral thinking you're gonna be a superstar and everybody gonna be laughing and wilding out at his expense. I don't care how refrained he is. He's gonna get to the point where he's gonna get sick and tired of this shit. And he's gonna slap the dog shit out of you or knock the dog shit out of you. You have to grow up. You have to deal with your shit. Everybody has shit that they have to deal with. Everybody has stuff that they have to deal with. Your shit may not be my shit. But that don't mean that I don't have shit. That don't mean that you don't have shit you got to deal with. It's just different shit. So often, people tell me, man, I couldn't have handled all the stuff you handled, Elijah. I couldn't grow up like that and gone through all of that, man. What made you go through all of that? Man, I had no fucking choice. I couldn't choose whether or not, man, whether my father murdered my mom. I didn't have no choice in saying that. I had no say in me being molested. I had no say in the household that I grew up in and how they got down. I was a little kid. What's up with you, Kate? I had no say in that at all. I had one or two choices. I could stay in this toxic environment, or I could say, like, man, fuck these people, fuck this bullshit, fuck this religious bullshit. Man, I'm out of here. And that's what I did. And there's a whole bunch of people that's like, oh, you're a fucking coward. You ran away. Oh, man, you said what the fuck you want to say. I did what was in the best interest of me. I didn't want to join the military, but I joined the military. One of the best decisions I made. They get as far away from my toxic ass family as possible. And what I learned from that was that, man, if you don't deal with your stuff, wherever you go, you're going to take your issues with you. If you don't deal with your issues, no matter where you go in the world, you're going to have those same issues with you. And one of the things that I realized when I joined the military is like, man, life is different when you get away from toxic people. When you get around people that's positive and people that's happy about life and people that's wanting to succeed and people that's trying to do stuff and people that's trying to accomplish things in life, man, life seems totally different for those people than it do for the grimy ass deadbeat people that ain't doing shit in life. What is it so different about growing up in the fucking hood and the fucking ghetto and in the swamps and the dungeons of humanity as opposed to growing up in privileged areas and nice areas, well-kept areas? People see life totally different. People's perspective of life is different. What people want out of life is totally different. And so over here, you have people that want stuff in life, but they ain't trying to work for it for the most part. They just want people to just give them stuff. And so they have this mentality of this give me mentality. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Everybody owed me something because I'm here. Everybody owed me something because I'm born. Everybody owed me something. So you could be garbage on the football team and you get the same award everybody else get. You ain't practiced, you ain't put no work in, you just there on the team. Everybody else is doing all the exercises, going hard, grimy, just putting in the work. They don't get all MVPs no more for most of the kids. You just get a participation award. What the fuck is this shit? No, everybody don't get a fucking medal for participating in a fucking team. You don't get a trophy. God's not going to just say, okay, you know what? Okay, queen, here, you showed up, but you didn't do shit in life. You showed up and you just existed. You didn't live, because there's a difference between living and existing. Your ass just existed, but I'm going to give you a participation medal. Here, you get the same medal as Mother Teresa did. You get the same medal that Martin Luther King get. You get the same medal that Gandhi get. You get the same medal that all those people that put in the work, that dealt with their fucking issues, overcame their issues, and tried to make life in the world a better place for everybody else. They all get the same fucking participation medal. You just showed up, didn't do shit, stayed fucking high and drunk the whole time. Man, we gotta grow up. That's not how life works. I understand here in America, that's how it works. You know what I mean? You're participate. You know, you're the participant. You're on the team. Therefore, you get a medal because we don't want you to feel less than. Okay, the reality: everybody ain't a fucking superstar. Everybody ain't star athlete. It is what it is. Stop being so fucking sensitive and pussyfied to where, well, I don't want my kid to feel bad because he's not a star athlete. Then you need to work with your fucking kid to get him some better fucking skills. You need to work with your kids during the summertime and when there's not in season, and work on his fucking athletic ability so that he can get better. He don't get the same fucking medal that the star athlete gets. And the star athlete is putting in the work during season and out of season. But we don't want you to feel bad. We want you to feel good about yourself, Johnny. Bullshit. If Johnny want to feel good about himself, then Johnny got to put some fucking work in to feel good about himself. We're crippling these kids. And then they become adults and they're crippled and they don't know how to be a fucking man. They don't know how to be a fucking woman. Just because you're 21 years old don't make you a fucking man. Just because you're 21 years old don't make you a fucking woman. Just because you got kids at 16 and 17 don't make you a fucking man, nor does it make you a fucking woman. I don't give a damn how many kids you have. Man, I'm just talking, whenever you want to ask a question, man, go ahead and ask the question and the queen will get that to me, and I'll respond to your question. I'm just talking just to whatever God puts in my heart to say. I'm just sharing that right now. You know what I mean? But we have to grow up. We have to grow up. Man, in order to be a real man, you got to put in the work to be a real man. In order to, let me tell you women something. Sucking dick don't make you a woman. Guys, eating a kitty cat don't make you a man. Having big muscles don't make you a man. Being tatted up don't make you a man or a woman. We have to grow up. You got to know how to deal with your issues. You got to be willing to face your demons, face your monsters, face your past. You have to be willing to face the scary stuff of life. And you can't hide from that stuff. I see all these guys, man, they tatted up, they got some size to them, they act like they hard, they thugged out, but they punks. They straight bitches. Anytime life challenges them, they fold under fucking pressure. Because they've never been challenged. They've never been forced to deal with real life shit. That's why we have so many people, man, have all this money. And it's a trip because you have all these people that make all this money, make great amounts of money. And when the stock market crashed, you hear about all these people, these investors jumping off fucking buildings. You hear about all these fucking investors that are multi-millionaires, have all this money, all this stuff, man, moving millions of dollars a day. Because the market collapsed. They can't handle the fucking pressure. And they die. They kill themselves. My purpose, my thing, one of the things I like for us to do, things that I try to do, is help people learn how to deal with the pressure. Help people understand that pressure is not a bad thing. Pressure is great. You can't get a diamond without pressure being added to it. You can't get a diamond worth millions of dollars until somebody dig it up off the fucking dirt and the ground and put it up under pressure. And then to chisel it up. Then the diamond becomes valuable. Why? Because it's withstood the pressure. There's a question, what if you can't overcome demons? I don't believe that. I don't believe that you can't overcome demons. Everybody can overcome demons. You overcome demons by first acknowledging that the demon is there. Whatever the demon is. Why do I have this drug problem? Why can't I stop smoking weed? It's cost me several jobs. Why can't I stay faithful in my relationship? I've lost great people because I wouldn't stay faithful, because I see somebody and I get horny and I can't keep my fucking legs closed, guy or girl. So I have these demons that I just can't fight, that I can't get rid of. Yeah, you can. The truth is you don't really want to. There's a whole lot of people that have drug problems and they finally get to the point of, man, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to the pen no more. I'm not losing all my kids no more. I'm not losing everything again. I'm done. I ain't got another one left in me. I don't have another ride in me. I don't have another rodeo in me. I'm done. I'm done. I gotta deal with this shit, because if I don't deal with this shit, man, they telling me I'm going to the pen and I'm doing 25 to life. They telling me, man, if God told you right now to stop doing what you're doing, or you're gonna die, and it's a trip because a lot of just black people, we have high blood pressure. We eat a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be eating, right? And we get high blood pressure and all this other stuff, diabetes and everything. And then we go to the doctor, and the doctor says, man, you're going to have to cut out the bacon. You're going to have to cut out this, da, 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 da. You're going to have to cut out da, 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 cut off the coffee. You're going to have to cut out all this shit. You're going to fucking die. What some people do, because of the choices that they have, or because of the decisions they're facing, man, I'm gonna die if I don't get my fucking health together. I'm gonna die if I don't get my fucking diet together. I'm gonna die if I don't make the right choices. Man, I like bacon, but I want to keep fucking living. Man, I like coffee, but I want to keep fucking living. Or whatever the choice is that the doctor told you got to cut out of your life. Oh, I like salt, but man, it's killing me. I got to cut this shit out. You can make that choice if you want to make that choice. And people face those choices every day. And some people are like, man, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to die anyways. So if I'm going to die, I'm going to die eating bacon. I'm going to die eating pork. I'm going to die eating this salt. I'm going to die drinking this alcohol. Even though it's fucked up my liver, even though it's fucked up my kidneys and my intestines, I'm going to keep drinking this fucking alcohol. I don't give a fuck. That's the choice they make. They ain't fighting no demons. So, hold on. Queen's trying to show me all these questions. So you have a choice to make. Everybody has a choice to make every day. Every day. And it's like, I love working out. There's some days that's like, man, fuck it, I'm tired. I'm not going to the gym today. You know what I mean? I got to listen to my body. And some days it's like, man, I just don't have it in me today. But then I'll get back up the next day. It's like, oh man, I didn't go to the gym yesterday. Man, I got to hit it hard tomorrow. You know what I mean? And when I go to the gym tomorrow, man, I hit it hard. You have a choice. You have to acknowledge the fact that you have a choice. And you have to acknowledge the fact that you're responsible for the choices you make. You're responsible for the choices you make. It ain't your daddy's fault. It ain't your mama. I don't give a damn what happened to you. It don't matter. You have a choice to make. I had a lot of shit go wrong in my life. A lot of shit go wrong. And God had to show me, Elijah, you chose the path that you did. You chose to think the way you did. You chose to feel the way you did. You chose to have the perspective that you did. You didn't have to take on that mentality. You chose that. Now you got to change it again. Because you see that that's not healthy. You see that's not good for you. Most people don't want to be accountable. Most people want to be a fucking victim and keep blaming everybody else. It is what it is. Another question, do I think that masculinity and femininity will ever come back and be normal in our society? I don't know, Andrew. I don't know. You know, and I say that because I like to believe, I like to hope that masculinity and femininity comes back. Because right now, when you look at our society, we have this toxic masculinity. We have these feminist women that are pushing this toxic masculinity ideology to destroy anything that's masculine, to neuter any male that's masculine. Oh, you're too strong. Oh, you're too vulgar. Oh, you're too da-da-da. And so you have this feminist movement to destroy anything that's masculine because it's a threat to them. And then on the flip side, you have these male chauvinists who wants to destroy everything feminine. And so, man, again, it all comes back down to an individual basis, to an individual, what you want. You know what I mean? What are you going to do in life? Because reality, when you look at, go back all the way through, and I talked about this in some of the other videos in the past, and it's a great question, Andrew. When you look at the fall of, brain fart, Lemuria, when you look at the fall of Atlantis, and just brain farting right now, one was a patriotic, I can't even say the word, a male dominant society, and the other was a feminine dominant society. And you look at both of them, there's a division. And for some reason, now I made a video earlier talking about balance, and I was talking about it earlier today. We have to find balance, family. There has to be a balance. And so whenever men take the lead and they're dominating or they're running the world, you have this male chauvinistic belief system that anything that's outside of this realm is unnecessary. And this is the reason why men killed all these women and deemed them as freaking witches, and drowned them and burnt them at the stake, and all the shit that they did to these strong-minded women, to these liberal-minded women. When I say liberal, I'm not talking about conservative liberal. I'm talking about women that thought outside the box, women that spoke for themselves, and women that thought for themselves. Because at that time, women weren't supposed to be able to read. At that time, women weren't supposed to have an opinion other than what their husband's opinion was. Women were just seen as fucking cattle. And so anytime a woman was strong and independent and didn't need a man to speak for her, she was a threat to the rest of the men, and she was a threat to the women. And so most times they labeled her as having a devil in her or being a witch. And so, man, we have to kill those people. And this has been going on since the beginning of time with Atlantis and Lemuria. And that's why both of those civilizations died. Because they became unbalanced. Do I think it'll come back in our time frame? I don't know. Be honest. It's scary when I look at how our society is going now, you know, and when I grew up as a kid, there was just two genders, male and female. Since the beginning of time, there's always been just two genders, male and female. Now, I don't know how many genders are, you know what I mean? I don't know how many genders there are now, you know? And again, to each their own, you know? You're entitled to live your life however you deem fit, you know what I mean? But when you start changing the structure, the balance, the yin yang, male, female, good, evil, light, dark, whatever, and you start adding all these other genders, I think that fucks up our kids. That fucks up our nation. That fucks up our community. And now that just adds confusion to something that should have never been confused in the first place. That adds toxicity to a toxic situation already. Because there's such a great divide between men and women. And there's never should have been this divide. There's almost like this unspoken hatred, almost like this unspoken war between femininity and masculinity. It's like we're at war with each other. A strong man can't have a strong woman. It's like, why the fuck can he? A strong woman has to have a weak mind or a weak guy. And it's like, why? And when we look at our society, it's like that's what we see. And it's like, and I've done studies on this in the past, a long time ago, where a lot of the bottled waters and all this other stuff was creating estrogen levels in the guys, was increasing their estrogen and decreasing their testosterone. And it was doing the opposite for women, for females. It was increasing their testosterone levels in the females and decreasing their estrogen levels. And so it was making the women more manly and the men more feminine. And again, you can do your own research. You know what I mean? I used to be all out into that shit. You know what I mean? Like I was studying that shit hard. You know what I mean? And it's like trying to understand, why is there such a shift between the males and females now? Why are so many guys so much more feminine now than they were 40, 50 years ago? And again, I'm not knocking it. To each their own. I don't care what you like. I don't care what you love. I just want you to pursue your happiness. I just want you to understand why you do what you do. Be at peace with it, but understand why you are the way you are. I've had so many women that have gone through, again, I used to be a counselor in California, and I was a domestic violence counselor and all this other stuff. And it always blew me away that the great majority of the women that were in homosexual relationships They used to be in heterosexual relationships and they were beaten and abused by guys and dogged the fuck out by dudes. And now they're sick and tired of getting beat on by dudes. They're not allowing another dude close to them. And so what the great majority of these women did was they jumped in homosexual relationships or same-sex relationships so that they wouldn't be with a guy again. But they hadn't really dealt with their issues. They hadn't really dealt with their trauma. They just didn't want to be alone. But they couldn't be with a guy. They couldn't trust guys. Because all the guys in their past had dogged them out. All the guys in the past had beat them. And so, speaking for California, and so the great majority of the domestic violence cases, not heterosexual couples that have domestic violence cases. They're same-sex cases that have domestic violence cases. But we think we solved the problem by abstaining from guys, or we think we solved the problem by abstaining from women. We all got issues, and if we don't deal with the issue, man, you know what I mean? We haven't really done anything. So will femininity come back into the world? Will masculinity make a comeback? I think eventually both will. But what'll happen is there's going to have to be a crash and burn. There's always a crash and burn. There's always something epic that has to happen that becomes a catalyst to growth and development. Always. It's universal law. You know what I mean? There has to be something tragic happen for great growth and development to occur. And when we look at our lives, man, the great majority of we've grown the most after we've suffered a loss. After we've experienced something traumatic. We've made our greatest strides. The movie Inception. I don't remember if I've seen the movie Inception or not. It sounds familiar, but I've watched so many movies. I love movies. Justin, man, I'm gonna get to your question in just a second, Justin, go back to the question. Yeah. Justin, you have a question. Will the ego's voice ever go silent when we're working to improve ourselves? I'm gonna answer that in just a second. Because that's a great question. As far as the movie Inception, please tell me what the movie is about. It sounds familiar, but just off the rip, I don't remember it. I use a lot of movies in my counseling and in my coaching sessions because it's easier for people sometimes to watch a movie and then I could talk to them from that movie and they'd be able to see things that they normally wouldn't have picked up on. And so I use movies as tools to show people and to reveal things to people about our personalities and our shortcomings and our issues and all that other stuff. Jeremy, will the ego's voice ever go silent when we are working to improve ourselves? The ego is only going to go silent when you make it go silent. That's it. And it's never going to be totally silent. The ego is always going to be there. Through meditating, through learning how to deal with our issues, we learn how to take control over our ego. Most of us are ego-led. We don't lead our ego. We're led by our ego. And that's why we make movies and videos and do stupid things for attention. Because we need the attention. We're starving for attention. Or whatever our issues are, our ego will play mind games with us and make us think that we're deep and we're woke and we're spiritual and we're all this other stuff to keep us from growing in that area, to keep us stuck, to keep us imprisoned in that area, to keep us a prisoner of our own thoughts and our own beliefs. I made a video a while back that the ego is the devil, if you will. The ego is the devil. It's not your friend. It will never be your friend. The ego will never tell you to do what's in your best interest. The ego will never tell you to do anything to help you reach your full potential. The ego will always have you do just enough to make you convinced that you're good. The ego will always have you do just barely enough to keep you stuck at your level. Because once you raise your frequency, once you raise your energy, you now take control over your ego. And your ego does not want to give up authority over your life. We run out and we have sex because it feels good and it boosts our ego. We make all these videos and we want all this attention from because it boosts our ego. We want people to tell us we look good and we sound good and da because it boosts our ego. We do so much stuff to boost our own ego, to make ourselves feel good. It's all ego traps. It's all ego traps. And I have a video talking about ego traps. So will the ego ever go silent? No, it'll never go silent. It'll always keep trying to rear its ugly head. Always keep trying to come back up. But its voice will get less prevalent, if I can. The power of his voice won't have the control that it used to. Once you learn how to take control over your life. Once you stop being a victim. Once you get rid of that victim mentality, because that's ego-led. Once you stop being arrogant and narcissistic, because that's ego-led. Once you stop being saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost, water baptized, that's all ego-led shit. That's all ego-led stuff. So once you stop being those things, then the ego loses its power over your life. But it's always going to keep trying to come back in. It's always going to try to regain power. That's why we have to meditate, because, man, we have to be watching, and the Paul says, man, be looking out, you know what I mean? Daily. Praying daily, meditating daily. Why? To keep my ego under subjection, to keep my ego under control. One of the things that I had to learn, especially with this platform, is that, man, I have to meditate all the time. I have to always be on the mind. My frequency always has to be on point. I got to be watching out and careful of what I do and what I say. I have to be careful of the fact that I'm not saying stuff and I'm not doing things to boost my ego. Because we all like hearing, oh man, that was a great life, that was a great video, da da da. Oh man, you said something, da da da. And if you're not careful, man, compliments can become very destructive. Compliments can become very poisonous. Because the ego feeds on that. The ego loves that shit. And so the more you're out in public and people are pumping your head, and people are praising you, and people are telling you how great you are, and man, you're doing this, da, 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 and you're helping. Da, da. Man, if you're not careful, man, that can become very toxic for you. So you got to be careful with your ego. You have to be mindful of who you are and the issues you've had. See, if you've had issues with low self-esteem and self-hatred and abandonment and rejection and all this other stuff, man, the ego is going to push you in the area of getting praise. The ego is going to push you in the area of people giving you compliments. And you're going to thrive on the compliments. You're going to feed on the compliments of others. So you have to be careful with the ego. You have to understand the ego is not your friend. It's never looking out for you. Ever. Ever. It's always there to keep you trapped. The ego don't care whether you're overweight or whether you're muscular. The ego don't care whether you're beautiful or ugly. The ego don't care whether you're smart or stupid. The ego will take a smart person and make them arrogant and narcissistic and prideful. The ego will take your low self-esteem and your insecurities and keep you feeling less than. And keep you feeling like you're not good enough. So the ego don't care what your issues are. They just want to stay in control. Or it just wants to stay in control. Next question. I hope I answered that, Justin. How do I enter into that flow of self? I want to come back to that. How do you enter that flow of self? You got to understand who the self is. The self is not your physical being. The self is not the ego. And so many of us, we think that our ego is who we are. So we think our mind is who we are. You are not your mind. You're not this physical shell of a house you live in. The true self, your true self, who you really are, that's your spirit. That's your soul. And you can't see that just looking in the mirror. You can't see that naturally with these eyes. So to get back to your true self, and you guys hear me say all the time, man, know thyself. I just talked about that earlier today. You got to know thyself. How do you know yourself? Man, you know yourself by getting in alignment with God. You know yourself by humbling yourself and learning how to meditate, get on the frequency of love. Of love. You know yourself by getting back in alignment. Said, hey, you know what? I need to get back on my frequency. I've been wilding out too much. I've been depressed. I've been suicidal. I've been anxious. I've been fearful. I've been scared. I've been all these different things, and they've changed my frequency. You guys have heard me talk about a thermostat and the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer. A thermostat and a thermometer is drastically different. Drastically different. They both tell you the environment, the temperature of the environment. A thermometer will tell you that it's 85 degrees in here. That's all a thermometer could do is tell you how hot or how cold it is. It don't have any power to change shit. It just tells you the temperature of the environment. That's what a thermometer does. A thermostat, and to many of us, that's how we live our life. We live our lives as fucking thermometers. Man, the fucking world is so depressing. The world is so hateful. The world is so racist. The world is so divisive. The world is so mean. The world is so cruel. The world is so bigoted. The world is so homophobic. And we say all this stupid shit because we don't have no fucking power to change shit. Because you're in your ego. You're ego-led. You're powerless. Once you get into meditation and you get into connection and alignment with your true nature, your soul, your spirit, now you have all power. See, so many of us, we get it twisted. We think, man, I got to think power. Therefore, if I think power, I must be powerful. I'm thinking weak, so I'm weak. No, you're weak because you're ego-led. You can only access your true power by being spirit-led. That's why the Bible said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. Man, I have all power already. I just don't know how to access it. I just don't know how to tap into that power. That's why when you see women, and it's been well documented, you see these women and their kids getting ran over by cars, or these mountain lions or tigers or bears coming and getting ready to attack their kid. And these women, they tap into this inner strength that they didn't even know exist. They tap into this inner power and they're able to lift this automobile up off of their kid. They're able to fight back this lion. They're able to fight back this mountain lion. They're able to fight back this bear. Why? Because they got into a power. They got into alignment. They tapped into an energy that was inside of them that's normally dormant. Every single one of us have that power. Every single one of us have that ability, but we don't know how to tap into it. And so we feel powerless. We feel weak. You have to get into meditation. However you choose to meditate, you have to get into meditation, because meditation is the vehicle to either raise or lower your frequency. Meditation is just a vehicle. To either put you in alignment with God, or Source, Universe, Most High, Love, Universal Consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's just a vehicle to get you there. So to understand who you really are, you're a soul, you're a spirit, having a human experience here on earth. That's all you are. You're a soul, you're a spirit. Your soul, your spirit have many experiences. It has things attached to its memory. But that's who you are. You're not black. You're not white. You're not Hispanic. You're not Asian. You're not European. Souls and spirits don't have colors, ethnicities like that. That's why you hear me say, I said that quite a bit. It's the superficial people, the ego-led people. I'm a black man and black power and power to the people and all this stupid shit. We got to go back to ancient Africa and we got to study Hotep and we got to study and the Incans. We get all this caught up in stupid shit. All this divisive shit. That's all ego shit. To make us feel like we're better than another group of people. To make us feel like we're more superior than another group of people. That's not who you really are. You're a soul. You're a spirit. You get back into that through meditation. Getting connected with God. When you get connected with God, you realize how much power you have. You realize how much you were a slave to your ego. You realize that you have the ability to speak to the weather and the weather change. First time I experienced that, I was in Guam. He was a Jamaican dude that was like my big brother, Winston Smith. We used to call him Stone. His name was Stone, but his government name was Winston Smith. And I was helping him move some stuff, and this guy was phenomenal, great guy, man. And man, he taught me a lot about life, about the universe, about God, just everything, right? And so one day I was helping him move. He had just got married, and I was helping him move, and they're predicting a storm and all this other stuff, and the clouds came in, and we were just waiting for the downpour. And he looked up at the sky, and he looked at me. I said, man, bro, you picked the wrong day to move. You know what I mean? It's about to start pouring. And he said, you think, and he asked me, he said, you think it's gonna rain? I said, yeah, man, they're telling us it's gonna rain. There's 100% chance it's gonna rain. And this dude's waved his hand like this, it's not gonna rain. What? Dude, everybody said it's gonna rain. It's a storm coming. They're taking the Navy ships out of the port. They're taking them out to water, out to sea. It's getting ready to start storming. It's gonna be a nasty storm. He said, it's not gonna storm. I said, what are you talking about, bro? And he was the type of person, man, I could be around him, and I could only be around him for so long because I would get a headache. Because he would dump so much knowledge, so much information into me. It was just like brain overload. You know what I mean? I was stuck on stupid. It was like brain overload. But I remember, it's not going to rain. You have power over the storms. You have power over the weather. You have power that you don't understand. That's why Jesus was able to get up and just say to the storm, peace, be still. He didn't have to go into speaking in tongues. He didn't have to go get some blessed oil. He didn't have to cry, dear Heavenly Father. He didn't have to do none of that stuff. He just said, peace, be still. And the storm had to shut the fuck up. The storm had no choice but to go silent. The wind had no choice but to shut the fuck up. The waves had no choice but to sit the fuck down and be still. Why? Because Jesus said, peace, be still. And so when you tap into that inner power, when you tap into your purpose, or you tap into who you are, your soul, your spirit, you have that power. You have that power. I hope I answered that question, but it has to be through meditation. It has to be you getting back in alignment with God. Understand that you are a soul. You are a spiritual being. You always have been. You just didn't act like it because you've been ego-led and have been instead of being spiritually led. The great majority of us, we're led by our ego. We're not intuitive. That comes from our gut. That's intuition. That comes from the gut. That's where the spirit, that's where the soul dwells. That's where God is at within you. Here's the other question. Andrew asked, what do I think about, hold on, you're going too fast. Andrew said, what do you think about tarot cards and how do you know when, go ahead, flip it over, when using them is standing on your way? I don't understand that. How do I feel about tarot cards? I've read tarot cards. I have tarot cards. I own tarot cards. I have oracle cards. I've used them both. I used to be active part of a group that have done different types of readings. I created my own charms. And I've done over 500 readings on this Facebook group that I belong to. People all over the world. What we don't understand, we demonize. We have all these people that tell us, oh, that's the devil, that's da. What people don't understand, they demonize. It's just natural. This is what we do. When we don't understand something, we speak against it because we don't understand it. And then so often we think we understand it because we're reading and listening to people that's speaking against it. And because they have the same religious beliefs that I have to now therefore take their beliefs and what they say is factual according to these things, to tarot cards. It's witchcraft, it's the devil stuff, blah, 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 blah. When you learn to tap into your intuition, again, going back to your nature, your true nature, you don't need tarot cards to do readings for anybody. You don't need oracle cards. You don't need charms. You don't need a pendulum. I have pendulums. I use pendulums all the time. You don't need those things when you're tapped into your tapped into your intuition. You can use those things for confirmation. You could use those things to be like, man, this is what I believe my intuition is telling me. Let me pull some cards. Let me just see. Oh, dang. My intuition was on point. Man, my gut instincts told me da-da-da-da-da. Let me pull these tarot cards to see if this is true or if I'm not really hearing my intuition right. Just for confirmation. Oh, let me ask the pendulum if this is what I'm really sensing. Is this what God is really telling me? Let me ask the pendulum real quick. Just for confirmation. Because sometimes we're not sure. And that's, again, the more you tap into your intuition, the more you tap into your spiritual being, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the less you need these outside sources. We need these outside sources that lead us back home to learn to trust our intuition, to learn to understand who we really are. And who we really are, spiritual beings. But we don't trust our intuition. We don't trust our gut instinct. Because we're ego-led. We're a slave to our ego. We're a slave to our mind. And so we think the answer has to come up here when the answer is always down in our guts. When God speaks to us, it's never to our head. It's always to our gut. And so I don't have a problem with tarot cards. I don't see a problem with tarot cards. There's a whole bunch of people that use tarot cards for whatever reason. There's a bunch of people that use tarot cards and they're not, you know what I mean, connected. They just know how to read cards, you know what I mean? And they use them for different purposes. There's some people that have taken tarot cards, oracle cards, or whatever, and their sole purpose is just to get money. And they're just trying to scam people, you know what I mean? And so we see those people and we say, oh man, these people are da-da-da. And look at all these people. They're just scammers and scam artists. They're just trying to get your money and just milk you dry and blah, blah. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know, we don't say that about all Christian preachers because a couple of them have been charlatans. You know what I mean? A couple of them have been scam artists. You know, we don't say all of them are going to hell, you know, because a couple of them were sleeping around in the church, you know, or stealing money. You don't say everybody that's black is bad because you got black guys in prison for murder. Every black guy ain't on drugs just because there are some that are using drugs. You know what I mean? And so the same thing with tarot cards and all these other tools that we have to help us learn how to get back in touch with who we are. That's the purpose of those things. They're there to help bring us back home to our intuition, to our gut. That's the purpose of them. And once you understand that, and once you, I tell people all the time, I could read energy. I could be on another part of the country. I could be in America talking to somebody in England, and I could sense their feelings. I could feel their energy, their frequency. And I could tell them about themselves. I could tell them what they're dealing with, what they're struggling with. I could tap into my intuition like, all right, what's going on in their life? Reveal to me what you want me to speak to them about. And then I start speaking to them. They're like, oh, what the fuck? How'd you know that? Man, how'd you know that I'm going through the whoop, through the whoop? When I do readings, it's like, how the hell did you know I was struggling with da-da-da-da? How the hell you know I'm dealing with da-da-da-da? It's not about me. It's about who I'm connected to. It's about me being connected to universal consciousness. Me being connected to God, Source, the Most High. Me being on that frequency. And so it doesn't matter whether you're in Australia, Germany, or Africa. Energy is everywhere. It's everywhere. But once you learn to use your intuition, you won't need tarot cards. You keep them. I have like 10, 12 tarot cards. No, excuse me, I have like 6 tarot card decks and like 10 or 12 oracle decks. A bunch of different pendulums. And I have a box of charms that I created, made my own charms. Those are great tools. They're just tools. You don't need them. Not when you're tapped into your intuition. Was there any other question? Okay. And so, again, it's all about knowing yourself. You know, and that's what we talk a lot about on this channel, is knowing you. Because once you know you, then you understand why you feel the way you do. You understand why you think the way you do. Why you're so depressed. Why you're so angry all the time. Why you hate seeing black guys with white women, you know, or interracial dating, you know. Why does that trigger you so much? Why does that set you off on one so much? Why do you hate seeing a beautiful young lady with her body out? You know what I mean? Or why do you hate seeing an overweight woman with her body out? And what I mean, she's wearing revealing clothes, hardly any clothes at all. Why does that bother you so much? And I ask women stuff like this all the time. It's always the women that aren't overweight that have the problem with the overweight women wearing clothes like that. It's like, are you jealous they're more comfortable in their skin than you are in your skin? Are you jealous that they don't give a damn what people think? They don't give a damn that they got all that cellulite? They got all the wrinkles and the dimples? They wearing what the fuck they want to wear, and they don't give a fuck who like it and who don't like it. And you're not that comfortable in your skin. You don't like your body that much, and you don't look, quote unquote, near as bad as you say that they do. So what is it about them that sets you off to where now you're judging them? You're looking down on them. What is it about homosexuals that pisses you the fuck off? And I'm speaking on that because for a time, I was homophobic as fuck. You know what I mean? I was against every fucking homosexual. I didn't give a damn. But God had to show me, Elijah, you're not mad. You don't have issues with homosexuals. You don't. You have issues with the fact that you were molested as a little 6-year-old kid, and you really ain't dealt with that shit yet. And because you haven't dealt with that shit yet, you have you have identity issues. Because you were molested as a 6-year-old kid, and you never had sex with a dude outside of that. But you slept with all these fucking women trying to prove how much of a fucking man you are. You slept with all these fucking women trying to prove you were the man. Trying to prove that you weren't gay. So your issues aren't the people you see. They're a trigger for you. And triggers aren't a bad thing. Triggers are a great thing. Triggers are God's source, the universe's way of trying to get you to deal with some shit. And so when I was seeing all these homosexuals kissing on TV or wherever, these guys holding hands, and it just grossed me the fuck out, it was because of my issues. Because I hadn't dealt with my issues at the time. Once I dealt with my issues, man, I don't give a fuck what people do. As long as there was somebody that's of age and willing participant, man, I don't give a fuck, do you? They like it, you like it, man, go. Do you? I don't care. If you guys want to get married, man, get married. I don't care. Do you? I have nothing to say about it. I have nothing to do with that. That's not my life. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't piss me off. That doesn't set me off. That doesn't anger me. I just want to see people grow. I just want to see people deal with their issues. I just want to see people heal from their trauma. I don't give a fuck who you like, who you in love with, what you're attracted to. Are you doing the real work? And it's a trip because most of us, we're not capable of having these intelligent conversations. We're not capable of having these quote unquote sensitive conversations. It makes us real uncomfortable talking about this stuff. I remember when my late wife passed away, and this guy at the store, we'd been there several times to a store, and I went to buy this piece of art from him. And I went back to the store after she passed away. And he asked me about her. And tears started running down my eyes because she had just passed away. Like, this was January. She had just passed away the month before. And so it was still fresh, right? The wound of her passing away was still fresh. And so tears just came coming down. And he saw me and he just stopped and he gave me this big bear hug in the middle store. And I'm grossed out. You know what I mean? I'm freaking out. This gay dude's hugging me. You know what I mean? And it's like it tripped me out. And God had to deal with me. And God had to break me down from that. I was so judgmental against this guy's quote unquote, what I seen or thought was his nature. Because I'm looking at the superficial. I'm looking at who he likes, how his mannerisms are, and I'm saying that's who he is. And so he's hugging me in the store. I'm not looking at his energy. I'm not looking at his frequency. I'm judging him by his skin, by his makeup. Stay with me. And God broke me of that. That day changed me. Completely changed me. Instantly. I'm judging this guy, condemning this guy to hell for being homosexual. Condemning this guy to hell for being feminine. That guy, in that moment, that experience, he showed me more God than any Christian person I had been around for the last 3 to 4 months. That guy, that homosexual guy, that gay guy, whatever you want to call him, that guy showed me more God than all of the Christian people that I had been around. At my wife, at her service, her going away service, over 300 people there. All these Christians and all this other stuff, right? But this homosexual guy, who was not part of the church or any of that other stuff, showed me more God, more compassion, more love, true humanity than all those Christian people put together. And so God had to break me of my arrogance, of my ignorance, of being homophobic, and to learn to stop judging people based on how I see them naturally in this natural realm, and learn to discern their spirit. And so that shook me. That was a great life lesson for me, of going from being so manly and demonizing anybody that wasn't manly enough. Calling them punks and bitches and all kinds of other derogatory terms. And it wasn't really about those people. It was about my issues, my ignorance, my unresolved issues, my baggage that I was still carrying, that I hadn't dealt with yet. And so we all have triggers. We all have things that we have to learn. And so what we do most of the time, we see these triggers and we get pissed at the people for triggering us. No, you missed it. You missed it. It's not about the person triggering you. It's not about the person that's setting you off. It's about why are you being triggered? Why are you getting popped off? Why are you getting angry at seeing pretty gay women? Why are you pissed at seeing interracial couples? Why are you pissed at seeing all this foolishness going on in the world? What is it about that that's pissing you off? What is it about you that's allowing yourself to get pissed off? What is it about you that's allowing yourself to lose your peace and your joy, your state of equilibrium behind what somebody else is doing? I see, we talk about meditating, we talk about being balanced. Regardless of what other people do, regardless of what other people say, regardless of how other people get down, I should be a walking meditation. I should be a walking beacon of hope, of love for humanity. Regardless of what my circumstances look like, regardless of how dark it is around me. And the darker it is around me, the brighter my light should shine. My light should not be dimmed because I'm around all these toxic people. If I'm around all these toxic people, my light should be brighter. If I'm around all these toxic, negative, low vibrating people, they should see my light even more so. Going back to the thermostat and thermometer. The thermometer just tells you the temperature of the environment. The thermostat says, yes, it's 85 degrees in here, just like what the thermometer said. But the thermostat also has the ability to change the environment, to change the temperature of the environment. The thermostat says, yes, it's 85 degrees in it, but that's too damn hot. I want it to be 69 degrees. Therefore, I'm regulating the temperature in the room. I'm setting the room temperature at 69 degrees. That means that the environment has to shift. The environment has to change. Why? Because I, the thermostat, said so. Why? Because I, Elijah, said so. Why? Because I, Jesus Christ, said so. Why? Because I, Yeshua, said so. There's a storm going around me, but I said, peace, be still. There's a storm brewing around me. The rains are pouring and all this. I said, calm the fuck down and be still. And because I said so, and because I'm tapped into my power, and I'm walking in my power, and I'm walking in my authority, because I know who the fuck I am, my environment has to change. It's not a democracy. And it's not a debate. I'm not asking the environment to change. I'm dictating that it change. We're not making no deals. Because I know the power in me. I said, peace, be still. I know the power in me. I said, it's too damn hot. I want it cooler. And so the environment has to change based on the settings that I set. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we can be. And to thermostats can be scary as fuck. To thermostats can be intimidating. If you are a thermostat, you are intimidating the fuck out of all the thermometers around you. Why? Because they're giving out the temperature of the environment. My phone's tripping out. I don't know why. I don't even know if it's back on. If the live's back on. You have all these people hating on Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a thermostat. He's making changes wherever he goes. He's not asking nobody's permission. Thermometers don't have to ask anybody's permissions. It just regulates shit. Chosen ones, you came here to be a thermostat. You came here to change shit. You didn't come here to be all sissified. And what I mean, you didn't come here to be, oh, will you please just change? Will you please just stop acting like this? Will you please? No. Jesus didn't come here and do that. Jesus just came here and just flipped shit over. Jesus just came here and just made changes. Didn't ask nobody's permission. He did what he did. And that's a threat to the weak-minded people. That's a threat to the people that think they're in charge. That's a threat to the ego. That's a threat to the thermometers because they don't realize they have that power. And so now they're jealous of you. They're jealous that you have the power that you have. Who the fuck he think he is, and why he think he did that, and why the fuck they think they're chosen, and why the fuck because I am, and I didn't fucking ask you, and I don't give a fuck what you think or say. I don't need your affirmations. I don't need your fucking confirmations as to who I am. I know who I am. Case closed. End of discussion. Get in where you fit in. You can learn and elevate, or you can stay right where the fuck you at. It don't matter to me. It's your life. It's your choice. We all came here and we all make choices every day. We make choices every day. And if you don't think that you're making a choice, you've made a choice. You make a choice to elevate, or you make a choice to stay on that stagnant level you're at. Or you make a choice to go lower, to lower your frequency. You make a choice. You make a choice to stay connected to God or get connected to God, or you make a choice to stay a slave to your ego. You make a choice. Every one of us make a choice. So the question is, who do you think you are? And I made a video talking about this. Several. Who do you think you are? Who do you really think you are? Who do you really believe that you are? If you think you're all that, why are you living beneath your means? If you think you're all that, why are you dealing with suicide and depression and anxiety and fear and hate and racism? If you're a true chosen one, a starseed, if you're really as spiritual as you say you are, if you're as powerful as you say you are, why are you dealing with all that low frequency, that low vibrating bullshit? Why are you tolerating that pettiness? Why are you tolerating that divisive shit? Man, family, I hope and pray that I've answered all your questions. I hope and pray that um, you've learned something from this. Man, thank you for your energy. Thank you for being with us here this evening. Man, and I apologize. I don't know why. I do know why. They didn't want this live going on. You know what I mean? And that's why he kept cutting off or blinking out. But it is what it is. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for spending your time with us this evening. Man, we'll be back on tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a powerful live tomorrow. Powerful. I love you guys. Happy healing. Namaste. The God in me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the God in each and every one of you. You are godlike. You are God. Happy healing. Peace.